Hey guys. Hello everybody. Hello. I wanted to come on and just chat with you guys. Let me see. Um let me see. Hello everybody. Hello. I just wanted to hop on here. I had some questions that have been coming in my inbox, and some of them are probably questions that you shouldn't ask. And I'm thinking that maybe people don't know specific questions that you may not want to ask someone who is HIV positive just because it's sort of kind of disrespectful, right? So hi Instagram, hi YouTube, hi TikTok. So if you guys see me turning from place to place, that's why. So thank you guys so much for coming on to each one of my channels. I appreciate you guys. I am working on more content to put out for you guys, so bear with me and keep following me. Um, Also, I am a part of the HIV Stops With Me campaign, HIVstopswithme.org. If you want to go and check me out and others who are living proud with HIV, we are out educating, trying to end stigma, build community, and link people to care. So, yeah, that's what we're doing. So, let's get started here. First of all, y'all need to know that I'm eating some oxtails, some macaroni and cheese, and some cabbage. So if y'all hear me smacking a lot, just bear with me. I'm having a late dinner here. I was out and I'm just now getting home. So anyway, um, one of the first things that you definitely should not ask a person who is HIV positive is, are you clean? Horrible, horrible thing to ask a person who's living with HIV. Because first of all, I'm not dirty, and just because have HIV does not mean I'm dirty, that I'm unclean, right? And so that can be very offensive to someone who's HIV positive for you to ask them, are they clean? Um, because my thing is, what am I supposed to be clean from? What am I dirty from? That's my question. When somebody asks me, am I clean because I'm HIV positive? My question is, what am I dirty from? I don't understand when I got dirty. But yeah, that's just one of the things that you shouldn't ask someone who's HIV positive. Are they clean? It's just very disrespectful and uneducated, you know. So another thing that I think you should definitely not ask someone who is HIV positive: do you know how you contracted it? Why? Why do you care? What is it going to change how I contract the HIV? Does it matter if I caught it because it was sexual? Does it matter if I had a blood transfusion? Will you love me differently if it was because I was an IV drug user? Why do you need to know how I contract the HIV? Only thing you need to know, if I choose to tell you my status, is that I'm HIV positive. I'm undetectable. I cannot transmit the virus sexually. That's the most important thing. I am living and thriving with HIV. HIV is not stopping anything in my life. It actually, as crazy as it may sound when I say this to some of you guys, HIV has actually enhanced and saved my life. But that's a whole nother thing. But yeah, asking someone who's HIV positive how they contracted it is a mute point. What do you need to know that for? Because you're being nosy? Like, I would like to know, why do you need to know? That's my daughter. Why would you need to know how I caught it? What will that? What you know? What's the point? What is that? So my question is, yes, people are very uneducated. Thank you. Um, what is it going to change if I tell you I caught it sexually or I caught it from a blood transfusion? Does that change how you look at me with HIV? It shouldn't, because at the end of the day, I still have HIV. I'm still living my life, thriving in my life. And no matter how I contracted HIV, that really should not matter. Um, Another thing I don't think you should say. So when you say, do you know how? Then to next maybe ask me, do you know who gave it to you? Again, why do you care? What difference do it make? If I tell you I got it from a one night stand, does that make you think worse of me than if I tell you I caught it from someone I was in a relationship with or someone I was married to? Like, why does it matter? Um, but yeah, so that's another thing. And something else, and this is a really a big thing for me. If you know and love someone who's HIV positive, please don't tell them that you're sorry. Why are you sorry? What did you do to me? Why are you sorry? Are you sorry that I told you that I have HIV? Are you sorry that you couldn't stop me from contracting HIV? What are you sorry about? I don't want anyone to feel sorry for me because listen, anyone who knows me and who gets to know me knows that I am happy. I have four wonderful grandchildren. I have three children. I have an awesome job. I travel. I am in leadership in many parts of different things. Um, so to tell me you're sorry, what you sorry for? I'm sorry that you sorry because you sad. I'm not sad. And I think that's something that people who first learn about a person's HIV diagnosis, you immediately get sad. What are you sad about? If I'm not walking around, woe is me, why should you? Now, that's one thing about me. I don't walk around with my head down. Um, just because I'm HIV positive, um, that does not determine how I feel when I wake up in the morning. It doesn't determine how I live my life. It doesn't determine who I love, who loves me, um, who wants to interact with me. So telling me you're sorry for me, what are you exactly sorry for? I think sometimes people, when they say that, they feel like they are helping a person, making them feel supported. But most times, I don't think that that's being supportive at all. And just one more thing, and these are questions, guys, that I have gotten in my inbox. People are asking me these questions. And it just mind blows me because the questions I want people to ask me is, can you educate me on, are you able to pass HIV to someone? I would love for you to ask me that question because that question gives me the opportunity to educate you on U equals U, right? Meaning undetectable, untransmittable. So then I cannot transmit the virus to you sexually if I take my medication, right? If I take my medication and I'm undetectable, meaning the virus is so low in my system that I can't transmit it sexually? That's the question I want you to ask me. I want you to ask me, what is that pill that I heard about that's called PrEP? So I can then tell you, yes, there is a pill out called PrEP that can help you protect you from contracting HIV sexually. These are the type of questions that I want to get. Um, Not how did you catch it? Who gave it to you? Are you clean? These are some very bad questions to ask people. And I get it because everybody doesn't understand HIV. And if you don't know, maybe you don't know what else to say. And I get it. So I don't get offended to the people that ask me these things, but For some people that might hurt their feelings. They may get offended, right? Especially, yes, PrEP. So let me, so see, someone just told me they don't know about PrEP. So let me tell you what PrEP is. PrEP is a pill that you can take daily. There's also a shot that you can take monthly that would stop you from contracting HIV if you happen to come in contact with somebody who was not undetectable, right? Sexually, it would stop you from contracting HIV. But of course, like any medication, you need to take the medication daily or make sure that you get your shot. You also have to get tested regularly just to make sure you're not that 0.1% out there. But yes, there is a pill that you can take to stop you from contracting HIV sexually. And this pill is not just for someone who, and so I'm going to say this because I get this a lot. Well, I thought that that was only for men who have sex with men. No, it's for anybody who may feel that they have a reason to possibly contract HIV. And I say reason because we're trying to change the word risk, because risk means it's a bad thing. You're doing something bad. But I believe, and I believe my friend Jeremy here believes, that everybody can have their own healthy sexual lifestyle, right? Um, and have sex however you want, whenever you want. Well, how many ever people you want to have sex with? Who am I to tell you how you have sex and who you have sex with? So this is a tool like condoms, right? This is another tool that you can put into your box so that you can be free to enjoy your sex life, right? And so I know a lot of people think that that medication is only for a certain population. Not true at all. So if you have any other questions about that, please, please, please inbox me or ask me now. Please, guys, any questions that you have, please feel free to ask me. Now, I want to say this because this is an educational moment, right? I want to say that no question is a stupid question, even though I said that these were questions that you probably shouldn't ask someone that's HIV positive. But I am the type of person that asks me anything because I feel like if you ask me and I answer it, that's one less other person who has to get that question. And the more educated you get, the more you know, right? The better you are for yourself and for others. I think a lot of times we always assume that we never have come in contact, and I don't mean sexually, but come in contact with somebody who has had an HIV diagnosis. And maybe they have never said anything to you because they don't know how you're going to react. But what they do know is that they've sat around and listened to you have conversations, right? And maybe all the comments that you're making are not positive comments. So that in itself is going to stop people from wanting to tell you that they're positive. How long do you take it to show up on a test? How long do you take what, Brianna, for it to show up on a test? The PrEP. So for women, they say that women have to take PrEP for 30 days before it actually becomes the protection. For men, it's sooner. Jeremy, you may be able to help me with that. I believe for men, it's like 2 weeks. But women, and there are two types of PrEP pills, Descovy and, oh, sheesh, I just got a brain fart. Descovy and, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to think of it, guys. My brain just froze. But Descovy is only for men. It has not been tested on women yet. Um, how can people help with HIV advocacy no matter what status? Well, Truvada, yes, that's what it is. Truvada is the PrEP pill that women can take. Well, Garrett, you know what? First of all, I think the one way that a person can help, help that people living with HIV is get educated. That's the first thing. Go and get the information about HIV. Learn about HIV. Learn about how it can be contracted. Learn about what U equal U means. Ask questions if you know someone who's positive. There are agencies, I'm sure, in everyone's town that you may can volunteer at, or there's events, I'm sure, going on. But the first thing I think, and this is for me, you need to educate yourself. Because if you don't know about HIV, how can you help or advocate or be supportive? So I think that's the first thing, ask questions, get the education on HIV, and then I think you can be of help to someone. And it may just be a help to somebody that you know who's positive and they need you as their support system. What's the question? Does the meds you have to take stay undetectable have side effects that affect you in everyday life? Good question. People like share. Oh, my grandson please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for that question. So people who take HIV medication, of course, with any medication, there are side effects, right? Personally, for myself, I have been on a couple different HIV meds and I have never had any side effects. Nothing that affects me day to day. But again, everyone is different. Some people do have some side effects. Of course, older medications had effects on people's bodies. Like maybe this is why when we get our blood work taken every 3 months, 6 months, or yearly, they want to check our kidney levels. They want to check if the medications are affecting, anything else going on in our body. My side effects with Biktarvy was just morning sickness. So I had a friend who on here on my other live said that his side effects were morning sickness. Never had that for me. Um, I take Dovato right now, and it's a one pill a day, and I have never had any side effects at all. I know the first HIV medication that I was put on, it was called the Tripla, and a lot of people said that they had like these fierce nightmares, traumas, and I never had that. I don't know. Again, everybody is different. I'm sorry, guys. I'm still trying to eat. I'm eating oxtails for those who know what that is. Everybody is different, but I've never personally had any side effects. Um, I know some people said that they have had weight gain. Now, I don't know if that's, as you guys can see, I'm not a size two. I've never been a size two, but over the past 10 years, I have put on some weight. But that's more so, I think it was a protection for myself. And let me tell you why. When I first got diagnosed, I was uneducated about HIV. And I immediately thought that I was going to die. I thought that I was going to shrivel up, lose a lot of weight, my hair, and I was just going to die. I did not want to be a small size because I felt like people would look at me and say I was sick. I also had other things going on, traumas that I turned to food to cover them up. So over the years, I did put on a lot of weight um, to kind of it was a safety mechanism for myself. Now, did any of the medication I was taking help or affect that in any way? I don't think so. It could have, but I don't feel like I've ever had any side effects that I have been able to notice. Jeremy says for receptive vaginal sex or injection drug use is about 21 days per HIV.gov. So that's for the PrEP medication that you asked about. Um, Let me see what else. What's the other question here? So the last thing that I had on my list about things to never say to a person living with HIV or ask them is your current partner positive? Again, why? Why do you need to know? So um, for anal receptive is 7 days. Okay, so yeah, so with PrEP, It's different for men, different for what you're using the protection of it for. Um, yeah, so whether my partner is positive or not, again, really doesn't matter. Um, I know that, for the partner. So now let me flip that. I'm married, and when I decided to come publicly out with my status, I did have to ask if they were okay with me doing it, because it does affect your partner, right? People do tend to want to ask that question. Well, if you're positive, they must be positive because of the uneducation, right? But that is between me and my partner to make that decision. That's not your business to ask if they're positive, because if they are and they want to tell you, they'll tell you. So I think a lot of these questions that I'm saying that people have been asking me is not so much because they want to get educated. It's like you said over here on TikTok. People are just nosy. Just nosy. So I just think if you just kind of, ask yourself, is this question or comment that I'm about to make to this person going to be harmful or helpful? I think that's some of the best ways to think about it before you ask somebody something, who's living with HIV. But absolutely ask questions, because you want people to get educated, right? I want you to ask me these questions like, where can I find PrEP at? How did you feel when you first got diagnosed? How did your children feel? Did you feel like you didn't have anybody to support you? These are the kind of questions I would like for people to ask. But of course, people don't always ask what you want them to ask. And it's okay, because that's what I'm here for. That's what Jeremy's here for. That's what Garrett's here for. That's what other advocates are here for, to answer the hard questions. That's so maybe somebody else doesn't have to get those questions. So yeah, I just wanted to come on here and, kind of put that out there, because, I've been getting these inboxes, and some of the questions that I get asked, I just laugh because I'm like, are you serious? Um, but again, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to answer the questions. I'm here to possibly support someone who's living with HIV and maybe they don't have anybody to support them. I'm also here to put a face to HIV, because we know that you cannot look at somebody and tell that they're HIV positive, right? But people do still believe that in 2022, that you can look at somebody and still know that they're HIV positive, and that's not true. It doesn't really matter, because at the end of the day, we all are adults, right? And this is what I tell people. You cannot sit around and try to blame somebody for something. I tell people all the time, I think back to how I contracted HIV, and I was in a committed relationship with someone. We did use condoms for the first 6 months. I felt comfortable enough after 6 months to not use condoms as he was requesting. Um, and unfortunately, this person knew that they were positive and didn't disclose to me. But I've thought about that moment in the last couple of years, and I said, as much as I blame him because he played a part in it, I don't so much blame myself, but I do take a little bit of an accountability, because I was an adult. I made a conscious decision. And this is just about me. I made a conscious decision to not continue using condoms. And in that moment, I made a decision that changed my life forever, right? Does that make me a bad person? Does that make him a bad person? I don't know. But I know I tell people now, listen, the information is out there about HIV. And so every time you decide to possibly have sex, or if you are an active drug user, you decide to share needles, you make a conscious decision to either use a condom, you and the person have this conversation about HIV, get on PrEP, or go get tested together. It's your choice. Again, I don't care what you do sexually. Have as many sex partners as you want. Live it up. Yes, and there's also PEP. PEP you can use is for if you feel like you had a sexual encounter and you feel like you may have came in contact with somebody who was HIV positive, and you feel like, you are have a reason to believe that you may have possibly contracted, PEP is a pill that you can take, I believe, up to 72 hours after the contact. You can go to an emergency room to get it in most cities. Some HIV clinics have it. It just depends where you're from. Um, but again, we as adults need to make conscious decisions, get educated about HIV, and protect yourself. Because, yes, listen, as much as I say, listen, I got HIV and I'm out here killing it, baby, you can't tell me that I'm not. I'm an advocate. I travel to speak to people about my lived experience, to educate people, to try to build community and link people to care. And for me, HIV changed my life because I was in a path of my life that wasn't the best, and it made me stop in my tracks. But I don't wish this on anybody. If you don't have to contract HIV, don't. Just don't, you know? Oh, thank you, Jeremy. I love you. Yes, I am the best Dawn that I can be right now. Um, yeah, so um get away from me. My dog wants some of this food so bad. Um, you know, in the early stages of my HIV diagnosis, when I first got diagnosed, the first 2 years were like horrible for me. Because again, as I told you guys, I didn't know anything about HIV, right? When I contracted HIV, I thought I was gonna die. I thought that was the end of my life. That was it. I started making plans for my children to go live with somebody else. Um, and that's all I knew. And unfortunately, I did try to kill myself twice because I felt like, you know what? I want to speed up this death that's about to happen to me. But look at me 17 years later, still here, living and thriving, right? HIV is living with me. I'm not living with HIV. It's living in my body. I'm not living in its body. So, but after those first 2 years, luckily there was somebody who was in my life who kind of saw something in me that maybe I didn't see in myself. And they sent me to a training, which got me some education that I really needed so that I could snap out of the haze that I was in, because I was in a haze. And it put me on a path to want to be a help to people, because that's all I want to do, y'all. I share my story. I allow you guys into my life because when I was diagnosed with HIV, there was nobody there for me that looked like me to tell me it's going to be okay. You're not going to die. You're actually going to be able to live your life. You're actually going to be able to, back then, I could have still had children, get married to someone who's positive or negative, whatever you want to do. You're going to have a career. You're going to be a great grandma, right? I didn't have anybody at that time to do that. So I share my life because I want to be that person for someone, right? I want to be able to give somebody positive news, even in the midst of that tragic moment. And it's a moment. And I understand for some people, it takes them longer to come to a okay feeling with their self. And it's okay. But it just helps to have somebody by your side to walk this journey with you, right? Because the journey can be good or bad with HIV. I don't want you to sit and think that I'm saying that this 17 years have been all roses for me, because it hasn't. I'm not going to tell you a lie and say that it has. But I will say that I have been lucky enough to have people who have come into my life and have wrapped their arms around me and supported me and just told me, listen, we can do this. And they've encouraged me, they've mentored me. And so I've taken what I've been given and I continuously give it away. So that's why I do this, guys. I do it because I want to save somebody from not having to go through the trauma that I went through in the beginning. Um, you know, and let people know that you can live, right? I have a great job where I help people who are HIV positive stay in care. What's this? No one cares about you. You're blind. Oh, I love you too, sweetie pie boo. Did you have a did you have your HIV test yet? You should probably go get tested, okay? And I love negative comments, right? Because if they think they hurt my feelings, I have such thick skin that it don't even bother me. So yeah, I have an awesome job working in the field. Um, I help people stay in care. I run a support group for people who are HIV positive, and I continue to help them get educated about their diagnosis. Um, we support each other because even 17 years in, sometimes I just need support, right? I need someone to um, tell me it's okay, right? Because every day ain't roses. And it ain't even so much about the HIV, y'all. It's life on life terms, right? Just because I have HIV, it does not change the everyday things that I have to go through, just like everybody else. I have bills. I have good days. I have bad days. Sometimes I get mad about my job. I get mad at my kids. I get mad at my dog that's staring me down because she wants some of my food. But outside of that, right now, I'm in a really good place. Um, and I'm going to continue to do this advocacy. I'm going to continue to do these lives and post my videos with questions and just trying to continue to educate the community because at the end of the day, I want to end stigma because people are living with HIV does not change who they are. Um, you can love someone who is HIV positive, have sex with someone who is HIV positive and not contract it as long again as they're taking their medication and they're undetectable. You can have children with someone who's HIV positive and your children will be negative. You can do whatever you want being HIV positive, just like someone who's negative. And that's what I'm out here promoting. Love, life, healthy, loving relationships, educating on who can and how can we live our best lives with this diagnosis. So that's what I came on here for today. Like I said, I just had a couple questions, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish my food, and I hope I'll come back and talk to you guys soon with some more questions. If you have any questions, please feel free to inbox me on any of my channels. Again, please visit the HIV Stops With Me website, hivstopswithme.org. There's myself and others who are living with HIV. And again, we are slaying HIV. Here are our stories. We do questions of the month. Also, my friend Positively Jeremy. Once a month, he does a live on Instagram with other advocates. Please follow him and listen to it. But again, just want you guys to know that HIV does not change who I am or who we are. So you guys have a blessed day. I love you, and we will chat soon. Okay? Bye. Bye there. And here. Bye bye, Instagram. Y'all both laugh at the same time. Come on in, come on.